You will be amazed at what middle schoolers can learn, especially if they're in Ben Wheeler's class. And that's who our guest is tonight. He is the World Affairs Council Educator of the World this year. Right here tonight on Public Exposure, I'm Stan Emmer, Ben Wheeler from Explorer West Middle School. And wow, I sure wish I could go back to middle school and take some classes from him. But before we get to Ben, we've got to go to the longtime viewers of the show know that we, every single year, have people from the University of Washington Global Social Entrepreneurship Competition here. And we've already had it for this year, so why are we talking about it again? Because we just got an update just today. I'm very happy to have received an email. Let's go to the next click. From Malo Traders. They are based in Mali, outside the city of Bamako. I think that's how it's pronounced. Ben probably knows better than I do. But let's go to the next click, because here's the email. And, you know, I know you can't read that, but we've got the quotes from it. They say, this summer, we will be in Mali to meet with farmers, and we'll also meet with the Prime Minister to discuss our venture. While there, we will also conduct a study in collaboration with PATH to assess the feasibility of producing and providing fortified rice. Our experience at GSEC was instrumental in helping us, and we thank you very much for rewarding us with such a unique prize. We cannot thank you enough for supporting young social entrepreneurs, and we urge you to visit us at Malo Traders, malotraders.com, to keep track of our progress. Here's a picture of these brothers, what bright young men they are. One in grad school, I think, at Georgetown, the other one in undergraduate school at Penn. And the Nyang brothers are going to make huge success and very positive social entrepreneurship in their home country of Mali. Now, someone who is having huge successes here in our area is Ben Wheeler, the World Educator of the Year 2010. That's pretty cool.
Thank you, Stan.
So, first off, congratulations on the award. Why do you think you won?
I think they're looking for somebody who is trying to engage students in world issues, global issues. The World Affairs Council is doing that themselves. They bring many, many speakers here of international renown, authors, but they also have done a lot for teachers. They have regular programs for teachers, and so they have an annual award trying to recognize a local teacher who's doing similar work.
But you're teaching middle schoolers, and I have always heard that middle schoolers were just, you know, troublemakers on the way to high school.
Well, they do keep me entertained, and I do think that many people have not so fond memories of middle school. It's sort of a black hole that they'd rather forget about. But I've taught high school as well, and I find middle school absolutely invigorating, and every day is different. They change so much, and I think that our culture underestimates them by a fair amount.
Well, from everything that you guys are doing together, and I say that because I don't think that you're doing it completely by yourself. You're probably doing it because they're very interested in what you're teaching. But you started a long time ago when you went to Yale, and you've got a BA in political philosophy?
Liberally educated. So yes, I was studying social philosophy from Marx to the present and all the way back to Aristotle, and I think that was my foundation in how to think about social issues. And I thought, perhaps I'll be a lawyer. And then I looked at grad school, a long road of grad school, and thought, I'll try teaching right away. And I mostly have stuck with teaching since then.
And writing, and we're going to get to at least one of your books that's used in curriculum, and just from reading the reviews of it, my goodness. But let's go to where you teach, Explorer West Middle School. I hadn't heard of the school. Tell us a little bit about the school.
We are a small independent middle school, somewhat almost off the map for Seattleites, because we're actually just south of Roxbury in White Center. Mm-hmm. And we are small, 90 kids. We are humble in many ways. We lease a old public school building. We don't have a lot of resources, and that way we don't look shiny. But we have a fantastic program. We're 15 years into it now, and we have exemplary outdoor education. We have very strong academics in all subjects. The kids all take drama. They all take music. They all take art. They are not electives. They are mandatory because they're important. And we have strong academics. The kids go all over the city for high school, from public schools to private schools.
Well, and they have the World Educator of the Year, so it must be a pretty good school. Now, you, the book I was talking about that you wrote, and I think you've written others as well, but the one that you, actually it's a global knowledge curriculum designed by you, and I think you probably had a little bit of help, but it's all connected. And there's the book up on the screen. Tell us about that. What was your motivation, and what did you do with the book?
When we first started working on the idea for this book in 2004, there really wasn't anything out there that seemed comprehensive in terms of dealing with global issues and creating a framework for kids to think about global issues. And so we we really wrestled over the semantics and the terminology. We really came down to the lens of sustainability as an effective way to look at and to frame global issues.
Now that seems to be a buzzword these days, sustainability. Tell us what you mean when you talk about sustainability.
Well, I think that there's a lot of greenwashing around sustainability, and I'm all for green, Earth Day, but sustainability says that we are not going to save the trees unless we can save the people who maybe have a history in those trees, or the loggers who want to work in those trees. So you have to take care of economy as well as culture and history when you're looking at the environment, because it doesn't exist in a vacuum. The environment exists in the context of many other things.
Mm-hmm. Can we go to the table of contents in the book? Now this is from Amazon. Can we go to that? And it's not easily readable by us because we're a little bit away from the monitor, but just tell us a little bit about what you go through in the book that helps students and anyone who reads it.
Well, first, big picture, looking at population over history, and looking at the parabolic curve of population. It's a classic J-curve where the vast majority of people on the planet have joined us very recently in the last couple of centuries. And then looking at the concept of carrying capacity and the idea of how many people can the Earth carry. X number of people, finite number of resources, how many people can the planet carry.
Yeah, we're roughly right now between 6.5 and 7 billion, I think.
Yeah.
And others, I've seen where there are estimates that we can easily carry 9, and I'm not sure that we're easily carrying what we have.
Some people say we've already passed the carrying capacity, that it was a ways back and we're drawing down. We're just, we're deepening our debt in terms of our resource debt to the planet. Others say it's way beyond 9 billion, that there will be technological fixes, that we can marshal our resources better. But certainly at 2050, we're going to be at least 8 billion and perhaps closer to 9 billion.
So, and believe it or not, 2050 is much, much closer than it was just a few years ago. The years do seem to be going by quickly. But with regard to It's All Connected and the curriculum, what is it that you think, from what you have written, grabs the middle schooler's attention and keeps it?
I think that younger students, say primary students, primary school, K-5, and then maybe 6th graders, and I also teach 6th graders, I think that they relate to their own identity and their families and their communities. But when you start talking about global issues, they relate, I think, first to the environment because they're interested in woods and nature and water. And as they get older, as I have kids 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, then they're beginning to see the world with more open eyes, and they're interested in bigger issues, social justice, economic opportunity. So my 8th graders, they're young adults, they're headed for high school, they're interested in all of it, the economic, the social, as well as the environmental.
So do you have political arguments in your class? Do you have environmental arguments in your class? And I should say discussions. Is that the kind of thing that you would use this curriculum for, or is it just one of many things?
Sure. We try to present multiple perspectives and let the kids do inquiry and research around the problems and the information. And oftentimes we just staged a deliberation rather than a debate in my class on Afghanistan. And a deliberation is where you have multiple perspectives, say 4 positions. Do we support Al-Qaeda? Do we support the Taliban? Do we have a multinational effort? Do we just pull out? And then they deliberate, and rather than arguing the positions, I'm right, you're wrong, they just deliberate. They just question, inquire, Socratic dialogue, and then at the end they come up with their own option, which could be one of the 4 or it could be a hybrid.